The old Blackwood house stood at the edge of town, shrouded in shadow and silence. Its windows, like vacant eyes, stared out at the world. For years it stood empty. No one dared to approach. Local legend whispered of a curse, a darkness that clung to the house and swallowed anyone who dared enter. The house was a testament to decay. Its paint peeled, its roof sagged. The porch, once grand, now groaned under the weight of overgrown vines. Some said the house sighed, others swore they heard whispers carried on the wind, but whether real or imagined, the stories kept people away. The Blackwood house was a place of secrets, secrets whispered in the dead of night, carried on the wind, secrets that chilled the bone and made the bravest heart tremble. It was a place to be avoided, a place of shadows and whispers, a place of fear. The storm raged, mirroring the fear in their hearts. 5 friends, young and foolish, huddled on the overgrown lawn of the Blackwood house. Mike, the bold one, laughed, his voice almost drowned by the wind. A curse? Childish stories. His words were met with nervous laughter, but their eyes betrayed their bravado. Emily, the skeptic, shivered, pulling her jacket tighter. It's just an old house, right? She tried to sound confident, but her voice trembled. They all knew the stories, the whispers of tragedy that clung to the house like cobwebs. John, the quiet one, spoke for the first time. Maybe we should go. His words were lost to the wind as a clap of thunder shook the ground. They were committed now. There was no turning back. The dare had started as a joke, a test of courage, but now, standing before the house, its shadows swallowing them whole, the humour was gone, replaced by a primal fear that clawed at their throats. The air inside was thick with dust and the smell of decay. Each creak of the floorboard, each sigh of the wind sent shivers down their spines. They climbed the stairs, each step heavy with dread. The attic door creaked open, revealing a room bathed in an eerie silver light. And there it stood. In the center of the room, a mirror. But not just any mirror. This one was ornate, its silver frame etched with strange symbols. It stood pristine, untouched by the decay that claimed the rest of the house. The moonlight streamed through the single window, bathing the mirror in an unnatural glow. Drawn to it, they stepped closer, their reflections distorted in its warped glass. As they gathered around, a strange feeling washed over them, a chill that seemed to emanate from the mirror's depths. The air grew heavy, making it difficult to breathe. "It's beautiful," whispered Sarah, her voice hushed with awe. She reached out, her fingers tracing the intricate carvings on the frame. As she touched the cold glass, a jolt shot through her arm. She gasped, pulling back her hand. Emily peered into the mirror, her breath catching in her throat. Her reflection stared back, but it wasn't her. This Emily was older, her eyes filled with a chilling emptiness. Panic surged through her as the reflection reached out, its long, bony fingers scraping against the glass. John gasped, stumbling back from the mirror. "That's not me!" he cried, his voice high with terror. His reflection was a grotesque mockery of himself, his skin pale and drawn, his eyes glowing with an eerie red light. They watched in horror as the reflections inside the mirror began to move, their movements jerky and unnatural. Mike, his face pale, laughed nervously. "It's just a trick of the light," he stammered, but even he couldn't hide the fear in his voice. His denial was cut short as his reflection lunged, its clawed hand breaking through the surface of the mirror. The glass rippled like water, and a cold skeletal hand shot out, wrapping around Mike's throat. His screams were cut short as he was pulled, struggling, into the mirror. The glass returned to its pristine state, his terrified reflection lingering for a moment before fading into darkness. They were trapped, their reflections no longer their own.